Okay, we're now live. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa. Namo buddhaya, namo dhammaya, namo sanghaya. So hello to all of you across the world. We're now live on all of my socials, which includes YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, both Facebooks. Today I just wanted to give everyone an update. I think it's been quite some time, maybe 2 weeks, since you guys seen a live stream. And as the day passes by, it will become more rare to see me live across my socials. At the time of this talk, it is 1 a.m. in Florida. Today is April 13th, and Florida have decided to become a little chilly. Florida decided to have a 60-degree, or it feels like 50 degrees to me, with my window open to my right. And so it is a little chilly. I have a student that just reached out from Washington. I told him to give me 1 second. After this live, I can get with him. As you all are aware, that my mom passed away on February 22nd. Get with him. As you all are aware, that my mom passed away on February 22nd. And so behind me are a couple of urns. And today there's like 5 urns behind me. Right? But there are some updates I wanted to talk to all of you about. And let me see if I can go in order, as in order as it can be. And we're gonna hear the dings. I don't know, not sure where that ding just came from. Okay. Okay. First of all, I wanted to say thank you to my assistant, Stephen, who got into the urn business a long time ago. Stephen is one of my longest serving assistant way back in the day. And then he has his own business, LLC, selling urns. After my mom passed away, she was cremated, and I needed additional urns to put some urns over here and put some urns over there. And for traveling, I wanted to take my mom with me, for example, to the beach where we spent the most time to meditate together. There are pictures that I have yet to post. Matter of fact, there are pictures from like months and months ago that have yet to be posted. And so that's in the works. What, as I have these urns sitting where the Buddha is to my right. So can you guys see? I think TikTok cannot see, but okay. So everyone can see the orange Buddha to my right. The urns sat there, 2 of them. And matter of fact, there's another urn over there inside of, where's the box? Right there. There's a 3rd urn on the ground because Stephen had samples, and he said, you can just hold it there. I said, okay. So every morning when I step out to see the Buddha and give respect to the Buddha, I see these urns there. One couldn't help but to think that I'm going to wind up in one of those urns, right? Like all of us are, right? I want to hold up a family picture. This is a family picture that when I was, I'm not sure, maybe 10 years old, I think, taken at Macy's. Everyone can see this, right? Okay. All right. That everyone can see. Okay. So my mom, she's one of those moms that's like, hey, we need to take family pictures. And hold on 1 second. I apologize for YouTube because the camera's a little slanted on YouTube. It's one of those things that holds 3 cameras. So there are 3 urns in this room, 2 in front of the Buddha and 1 still in the box. But I just couldn't help it but to step out to look, to imagine that Subsequently, there will be four urns. Three at first because my grandma went, then my mom, and my dad is 75. So that means his candle is brief. Okay, anyone 75 years old, the candle is quite brief. Uh, and then the fourth one will be me. It is a very real reality. Now, um, after you all have heard this, you all probably thinking in your head, this is going to be a depressive talk. No, not really. Not really. Now, for those who've been following me for quite some time, realize that my selection of teachings have always been particularly death meditation. Mm. Why? Because it goes straight to the heart. It goes straight to the point and central to our practice, right? Why do we practice Buddhism? To prepare us for death and the deaths of other people. Mm. In Buddhism, we learn to let things go, we learn to forgive, we learn to ask for forgiveness, we learn to live a chill life, we learn not to harm ourselves and to other people. We learn how to live um, a compassionate, understanding, just a really chill life, a happy life. Happy life equals a happy death. So, therefore, I've always been fascinated with death meditation because I was first introduced uh, to it and exposed to it when I was 16 years old, with my first teacher being in the Mahayana order in my city, Nha Trang City, Vietnam. Uh, my teacher, we would sit like this at night, 10 o'clock at night. I'm still hanging out at the monastery, and my teacher would get these phone calls. And that's when we realized that someone just died in the village. Vietnam's a poor country, and even poorer back then. Lack of health care and doctors and medicine. So people pass away often, due to variety, old age, sickness, disease. And so, like within a matter of an instant, within like 15, 20 minutes, we're showing up to people's houses and there's a dead body right there. And we're getting real close to it. People put, cotton balls here and there, were areas that could bleed. It's very real. It's not like in America where the body is well prepared and looks like sleeping. So I've always been fascinated with death and realized that one day we're going to get there. As I age, I'm 36 this year, and with the recent passing of my mom, which was expected and was really not expected. Um, we have these superstitions that we believe in Vietnam culture. My mom's name, she's got like four words to her name, or what do you want to call it? It's like two middle names, first and last name. Her first name is Sang. Sang in Vietnamese means like luxurious. That's why if you guys seen pictures of her, she looked luxurious all the time. You know, nice sparkly clothes, um, nails done, hair did, you name it, right? Um, and then one of her middle name is Tho, Tho, which means longevity. And we all thought, just for the fun of it, that the woman was going to be that was going to have longevity in her life. Um, eh, you know, so that was the not so surprising part. Then the expected part was her review of systems started to fail over the past six years. Now she died of a hemorrhaging stroke. So gradually, she fell out here walking Bailey one time. And that was when I realized this is not good. This is a neurological issue that is not good. Um, and of course, once she fell and we got here, I told her over and over again that you got to really pay attention to everything that's going on because you're at risk of a stroke. And then she died of a stroke. So she had fair warning about what was happening. Um, if I had the power to bring her back, I probably would not because of the review of system that was failing. Low back, knees, high blood pressure. uh, it was not good. So anyway, I don't know why. I probably need to grab a drink of water here shortly. So it was not good. And then her low back started to give out. Just and then heart stance was not a good thing. Um, so she had a very quick, painless, smooth, fast death. One of the best death anyone can ask for. Quite frankly, if I were to sign up for death, I would probably sign up for a quick, fast stroke, right? I mean, quite frankly, everybody wants to fall asleep and stay asleep and then pass on to the next realm. But stroke is not so bad, especially the quick, fast, easy ones, and not the type of stroke where, of which, you know, you're paralyzed for a long time. That's not good. So comes now, I wanted to introduce this program to all of you, and it is also a fundraising about the urns that Stephen and I have discussed. And I said, Stephen, nobody has donated since my mom's passing. When people donated for the funeral, it covered it. It broke even for the funeral. There were no extra money, um, and so each funding set for whatever purpose of like the novice monk program, rapid realization program, counseling program, each funding is divided into where it needs to go, and it cannot overlap just because it needs to go where it needs to go. So ever since my mom's funeral, which is I believe going on 49 days, there hasn't been any donations across all of the donation links: Cash App, Venmo, Zelle, PayPal, you name it. Okay. Now everyone knows that I'm part Christian. I was born and raised Catholic. So there are times in the car I listen to Christian music. And I noticed one thing, and I noticed how frequent they ask for donations. Rightfully so and appropriate to continue their programs and continue what it is that they're doing. They're doing great work. The Catholic world doing great work. Christianity world, they're doing great work. They serve the poor, simply put. And they have a system of doing so. Rules for Theravada monks: we cannot ask you, and I cannot ask you, anything but a cup of water. Okay. Citations for the Vinaya. Therefore, a Buddhist monk need to like come up with ingenious program and an ingenious way, a compelling case for the people to understand, so that they understand what is happening, why it is happening, what it is for them, and what it is for Buddhism, so that it does not violate the rules for monks. So this year, I will be quite heavy into teaching death meditation because it's quick, it's fast, it gets to the point. It just simply gets to the point. What time do we all have to cycle through 84,000 teachings? 45 years of his teachings. We don't. So, and I'm realizing I'm running out of time, lots of time. Um, yeah, everyone knows I'm going back to school. My dad is probably going to hand over the office to me. We're in the transition stage right now. So I'm studying immigration law. I'm studying for my clinical social work. It's a lot. So I won't have a lot of time with you guys. So therefore, my teachings need to be quick, fast, straight to the point, efficient, effective for everyone that is involved quickly. I also at this time would like to acknowledge the street naming for Venerable Thich Nhat Hanh. Thich Nhat Hanh. Thich spelled Thich, Nhat, Nhat, and Han, Hanh, on 109th Street and Thich Nhat Hanh Way in New York. That was like yesterday. The oh, I'm sorry. That's a fan right there. Sorry, TikTok was thank you for letting me know about the background noise. That was a fan. Sorry. Um, Venerable Thich Nhat Hanh changed the world. His teachings perhaps have uh, inspired, we can estimate up to 1 billion people with dozens and dozens and dozens of books. And now Plum Village in France. And I believe there's other plum villages across the world. Makes me wonder how I can scale Buddhism, how I can scale Buddhism. So therefore, the fundraising will go towards the attempted goal of scaling, number one, my program, number two, scaling Buddhism. Everyone knows that the Myanmar earthquake killed, by now the death toll, probably more than 200 monks. And there are video that was published, whereas monks, everything's shaking. They're just trying to figure out like what's happening. Why is this room shaking? And roofs caving in on them abruptly and suddenly. So worldwide, we've lost a lot of monks, and every day we continue to lose monks. One of a Buddhist monk that is closest to me, Venerable Vasu, just released his diagnosis of MS, multiple sclerosis, which is a neurological disorder, very painful neurological disorder, debilitating and degenerating. We've had, in my lifetime, almost 8 months disrobe in that I've got to witness. These were good, qualified, authentic, experienced monks capable of teaching to all of you. And so my sadness doesn't come from the passing of my late mom. My sadness comes from seeing monks disrobing, and my sadness comes from seeing monks dying. So therefore, I take it upon myself wanting to scale Buddhism the way that it should and the way that it needs to scale in order to ensure peace, sanity, integrity, uh, compassion, and understanding in the world, that what we're seeing now. Just in case you don't know what's going on, all you got to do is go to CNN.com and find out what is going on in the world right now with the tariff situation, wars, never-ending conflicts in the world right now. Therefore, tonight, I wanted to pitch this to all of you to come together and help me scale Buddhism. And to be curious in Buddhism, and to be curious in my programs, and to be curious in my teachings. And I think we all can do it together. Number one, get a hold of the teachings, resolve our suffering, and then help other people resolve their own sufferings. We have a lot to do as humans to help each other through it, the good, the bad, and the most trying times of our lives. So the newest program is called Earn Meditation, of which I find it effective if you were to get one of these urns and place it in your room. Number one, you'll be looking at it quite often. Number two, you'll be reflecting on the teachings quite often. And number three, if you have family members in the home, they're going to be really curious about what's happening. Also, I'd like to dedicate tonight's talk to Christine, whose family members is driving her crazy. If you have family members that is driving you crazy, this is one way to shake everybody up, is to get an urn. Or if there's multiple people in the homes, like perhaps 3, you get 3 urns. And if you really wanted to go there, you would put their names on these urns. Because you see, they're going to be like, what is happening? Why are there urns in the house? And why is my name on there? You see, in Buddhism, We do things other people don't do, but for good cause. But for good cause. Again, Buddhism aims to awaken people, awaken ourselves and awaken people. So just imagine that. This is what I imagine for all of you. This is what I imagine what's going to happen in your room. And this is what you should imagine for you and your family. Again, urns coming in and sitting and meditating. If you were meditating before, you realize that people are like, whoa, it's silent in here. It's quiet in here. What's happening? Particularly to all the parents, if you wanted to inspire your kids to meditate, you meditate yourself. Imagine the kids walking in on you and you're sitting in the middle of the room meditating. Same thing with kids. If you want your parents to change in some way, we inspire other people by and through our own change. So I find it effective and an eye-opening experience for a family member to start bringing in urns, putting it in various places in the room, perhaps. And then it sparks the conversation of, what is that? What I think it is? Just grab one. Oh, got one right here. Yeah, that would be an urn. Hmm. So my mom's original urn is gold container. This is aluminum, by the way. And so she's got her name engraved in it, and year of birth and year and date of death. And so I just can't imagine that you bring an urn next to you and spark this conversation of death meditation. And then people are like, oh, that's interesting. What got you in it? And that's when you can tell them, well, you see, the problem the Buddha taught is we think we have time when we in fact don't. Everyone can agree with that. And we don't have a lot of time. Clearly, my mom did not have a lot of time. Um, I live here in Tampa, by the way. Someone on TikTok is like, when are you visiting Tampa? Well, I live in the Tampa area, I should say, Tampa Bay area, Tampa, Florida. From here to Tampa, 20 minutes. Um, for those who don't get along with their families, the position for you is to awaken them about how the fights is affecting you and how the fights and not getting along and not understanding each other is affecting everyone's health. In Vietnamese, there is this quote in Vietnamese. Well, actually, it's in the literature when we chant. I don't have the Pali for it, but I have the Vietnamese version. Hại nhau chỉ chuốc làm than. Than. Tang is ashes. Hại nhau. Hại nhau means to do harm. You would only lead yourselves ashes, so which is leading yourself to death. Doing harm leads to death. Death leads to ashes. Mê si điên đảo vội vàng lệ châu, hại nhau chỉ chuốc làm than. Vietnamese wordings are very deep, very, very deep. Now, I counsel families across the United States. I've been to a lot of your states. And that's one thing that I see, the toxicity in family homes. And so with the serious conditions that we have in family homes is met with serious medicine. You see, this is medicine. This starts conversation. Have you all realized, why do people collect cars, collect video games, collect Pokemon cards, football, and automobiles, which is cars? Because they're conversation starters. You make friends and you keep friends with whatever your hobby is. This is medicine. This is a conversation starter. And this is something, hear me out, hear me out. A lot of people are like, huh? Urn is medicine? What do you mean? Buddhism is medicine. It means that this can potentially start the conversation to stop the war that is happening in your home. Number one, my mom was a wonderful mom, was a wonderful, was a wonderful woman. Did not exempt, however, how we fought. I do, in fact, have one regret, and that regret was not scaring the hell out of her. Not scare, but you all get what I'm trying to say, right? Um, Awaken her to what was happening, our relationship, our toxic relationship, right? I did, however, did my duty as a monk in dragging Stan home. Everyone remembers Stan, the real skeleton? Yeah, he's next on my list to be obtained. So we need to also raise money for that. I really want Stan. Everyone knows that. I'm quite attached to this skeleton. I want Stan here with me for these teachings and future teachings to come. I want the urns next to Stan so everyone can realize that skin, flesh, bones, ashes. Oh, you see where I'm going with this. Originally, you all knew I wanted a coffin. I really wanted a coffin when my mom was around because I was trying to make a statement like I always have. But the funeral home got rid of the coffins. I could never time it just right. And I'm like, why did you throw away the coffin? Like I could have used it. And the funeral home's coffins are quite morbid because there's been like probably hundreds of bodies been in it. So it's called a loner uh casket, no different than the one that my mom was in. A loner casket where it doesn't follow the body when it gets cremated. You don't buy it and then it goes with the body. You They loan it. So the body just sits in the casket, and then time for cremation, the body comes out into a cardboard box and choo, into the crematory. Again, Buddhism is about reduce, reuse, recycle. No different than things that we should do in our ecology environment. Reduce, reuse, recycle. Um, so of course, the Theravadan Buddhist son is going to behave in the most Theravadan Buddhist way, especially with his mom. The very unique relationship. Uh, so therefore, I find it effective now, learning from what has been happening in my life. And you all, and I realized for me that had I not taken the death meditation seriously and teach it so frequently and so often, I would have been in pieces. Um, my mom died to me before she actually clinically died, right? And we all should approach that in life because what is the opposite of that? The opposite of that is that you are attached to your loved ones. And some of these heartbreaking videos I see on YouTube. Now, all you got to do is put hashtag honor walk. And what was the song with the honor walk? The should I have known? Should I have known? Uh, if you weren't here with me, I would have made that moment last a little longer. Okay, everyone knows that song, right? If you don't know, you should put it in your phone right now. Should I have known? I forgot the artist. I'm horrible with names. So for some reason, when I'm like going through my YouTube just to like continue my studies and research, like these honor walks pop up, and it's like the saddest thing ever to see. But I feel it. I feel it in such a way because I was there for my grandmother and I was there for my mom. That that drop, when your heart drops because your loved one is like, and you're like, oh my God, this person is going to die, or this person is clinically dead, or this person is brain dead, and the intubation tubes, and I'm just like, oh my God. Now the song has made it even more sadder, and then the family members' reaction and crying. It's the reaction of the family members that make me have programs like this urn meditation, death meditation. Oh, it hits me in such a way, but it also reminds me that to be strong myself and to continue leading the pack of Buddhist practitioners towards enlightenment, towards enlightenment. And so here we are. We're having this very necessary conversation. I'm not sure what I'm going to title this, but I'm sure I hope that it goes viral and you guys share all of this to your loved ones, to everybody. Our world is changing in such a way that death will become very more common. Why? Well, whatever's going on with the United States and tariffs and all of these things that's going on, it's pissing a lot of people off, clearly. It's not good. And it adds stress onto people, which is also not good because it's stress on top of stress that we already had before everything else was, going downhill with the um, stock market and everything like that. That's why I don't play with the stock market. I own nothing and I have nothing and I want nothing. So therefore, as a Buddhist monk, it's like I wake up and I'm like, what? What's going on? And I do know what's going on. And I'm like, well, I'm glad I don't get involved in all that worldly affairs because when the stock market dropped, you can only imagine how many people suffered heart attacks. And at the time of this talk, our entire world right now is in anguish, in anxiety. They don't know what's going to happen. They just don't know what's going to happen. And if you're not trained to manage your stress, it's not a good thing. It's not a good thing. So therefore, I find it appropriate now than ever before, and I've been quite at it for the past 5 years in my 10th year as a monk. It's my 10th year as a monk. To now go really hard on death meditation because my job is to bring you all to peace and enlightenment quickly. And so perhaps I don't see, I tend to do things that other monks don't do. And this was one thing that I have not seen other monks do over and over again, or to the extent and extremity that I do it. You all have seen me at the cemetery, I putting students on the ground, laying flat on the ground, imagining their own deaths. I've had students even cover themselves with white cloth. A lot of experiments to get the point, and I'm glad that I did because it's been very instrumental and useful and helpful for all of those that have gone through my programs. And yes, I've gotten all of your messages, by the way, in my inbox about thank you so much. Your teaching brought me to peace. I get a lot of those. So that's how I know that my teachings are effective. And I would invite people who are new to Buddhism to try it because it's effective. And that's what we want, effective medicine. Serious conditions met with serious Buddhist medicine. So now we go on to the fundraising part of this conversation. And before we go on to the fundraising part of this conversation, I hope everyone is aware that Facebook recently only holds live videos for 30 days and then it goes away. So the preservation of Dhamma talks, this is called a Dhamma talk, is becoming a challenge for all of us teachers worldwide, because teachers teach and we're like, oh, we hope that our teachings are preserved for generations to come or years and years and years to come, such as YouTube, like Venerable Yuttatamo's teachings have been there for like 15 years, 10 to 15 years since he started as a monk, and perhaps one of the first Western monks in the entire world to start a YouTube back in his days. So you can only imagine the amount of praise and blame and that he had to endure in those years publishing and getting good comments and not so good comments. So I also invite everyone to move over to my YouTube channel because it seems like it's one of the only socials that preserve teachings. I have given great tremendous amount of thought to the earned meditation program and fundraising. So I can only suggest, right? I cannot directly ask according to the rules. And according to my research, a typical urn costs $300 in the funeral homes. So I am going to let you all meditate on this. Um, Number one, in the West, people like to have things. Uh, Even in monasteries, they have gift shops because people like to have things. Uh, Even in monasteries, they have gift shops because people want to have things rather than just purely donating. It just feels empty when a person donates purely. That's why the teachings of the Buddha is give and expect nothing in return. But in the West, it's quite different. People give and they're like, I wonder if I give, can I have a T-shirt in return or a keychain or something like that? I get it. I get it. The material realm, I get it. But I'm asking the whole world now at the time of this talk to not let the lawyer in your head uh, compare and contrast in such a way that it chases you away from this fundraising. So my suggested donation in order to keep our programs going is within that 150 to $300 range, whatever it is that you can afford. It is my policy that you also look at the bills that you have and make sure that is satisfied. Water bill, electricity bill, before you enter into this such fundraising or to help out in this program. It has always been my policy that, make sure you are good and you should not prioritize me, you first, before you think about this. This fundraiser comes after me having to really ponder about some of these new cases um, that has been coming in. I got a student in Merritt Island that called that wanted to become a monastic, a female student, 23 or 26, I believe. I recently had a 50-something-year-old student from Wisconsin who also aspired to be a monastic. It costs a lot of money for any program by any holy man or any holy woman to keep the lights on, buy robes. Okay, not buy robes, but robes have to be donated. But there are times where the monastery are shortage of, and there needs to be transactions that take place in order for them to get the requisites for certain ceremonial. Okay, this is a lot of technicalities in the rules for monks and in the Vinaya, but believe me that it's a headache being a Theravadan Buddhist monk. Well, somewhere down the line, we also have to be like lawyers. So we have to know the rules and we have to know the amendments to the rules. I'm surprised I don't have a stroke. If only you all go back in time in 10 years of my teachings and realize the meticulous small details that I have to pay attention to when conducting fundraising events. It's a headache. It's not easy. You can't just, it's really bad karma, first and foremost. And then you get called out by senior teachers and, you join the order to make it better, not worse, so and it weighs heavy on my heart having to tell some of these pending counseling cases and monastic novice programs that, okay, let me get back to you. Let me meditate on it. And at the time of this talk, people are still waiting for my answers because right now there isn't any fundings for the novice monk program. Mind you all, novices last year are still waiting for the reactivation of fundings so that we can continue novice monk program this year. I find it also embarrassing to have to hold these fundraisings and frequently. Because when I was in Arizona and or any Vietnamese monasteries or any Laos or any Thai or any Cambodian, any Eastern monasteries, the people already know what needs to be done. So the monk, he can just function as a monk. He doesn't have to function as a fundraiser. It's a rare thing that he has to, unless the roof is gonna cave in. Then that's when he's like, all right, y'all know that the roof of the monastery is really old and it is in code violation of the city municipal code, right? That's like urgent. So but I find myself, again, ever since my mom's passing, people donated $1,200 online for the funeral. After that, like a week later, like a $5 donation, the donations ceased entirely. It ceased entirely. Why? Well, number one, our economy is not in the best shape right now. Number two, people tend to forget. And number three, I'm not on the FM station, just like Christian music where they frequently hold. And I don't want to get into it. They gotta do what they gotta do. We gotta do what we gotta do to keep programs going. So again, I hope that people don't turn a blind eye to this, because anytime any holy man sit here and talk about raising money, people tend to turn a blind eye and they're like, oh God, no, I don't want to hear it. I So give what you can and try to not expect anything in return. So for those who make donations between $150 to $300, please send me an email, the number one Vietnamese interpreter at Gmail, the number one Vietnamese interpreter at Gmail, or my direct message, your address, so I can send you an urn. What color? I don't know. Varying. What is what is the adage? While supplies last. I don't know what's going to be available. This is all in the realm of Stephen. You all should also not expect certain colors, because behind me there's red, there's all sorts of colors, there's green, there's Christmas colors, or you get a plain one like this, right? Just be happy with what you're going to get. Why? Because in Theravada, you don't know what you're going to get. This goes a lot of my programs and how I do things. Notice that it's personalized teachings, but when it comes to material things, it's rarely personalized, because I don't want you all to be attached onto material things. I want you all to be well taken care of on a tailored level, meet you where you're at, select proper teachings for you, not the material stuff. Material stuff are just reminders of why we're practicing. So that's how it's gonna go. So that's what's gonna go. So I'm suggesting people to get an urn. I'm suggesting people who are able to donate between $150 to $300. It would greatly appreciate it, and goes directly into the novice monk program, directly into the teen suicide program. And I'm not sure what's going on with what I'm dealing with now on my left screen. I got a 14-year-old student from Washington that is texting me. So, it's not a good thing when you have Gen Zs and Alpha texting a Buddhist monk at 11 o'clock at night, because there is active stress. And so, because my program catered to teen suicide, I'm already thinking, oh, so what's going on? So, my last question was, is there stress in your life? The age and stress in their life automatically orange level, red level. Furthermore, the spiritual counseling is very important, because our existing therapists are burnt out. So there's need to be a joint collaborative effort, mutual understanding on the psychotherapy side, and the counseling of Buddhism, the spiritual counseling side, so that we're helping the masses of the crowds. And there are certain clinical cases where I cannot handle, because I am not LMHC, LCSW. So it has to be channeled over to LCSW, LMHC, or clinical psychologist, psychiatry. So again, I want everyone to really think about that. That no donations have come in since my mom's passing, and even before she passed, there were just very sporadic here and there, $60, $50. I think in a given month, like less than $100, right? That's why I went back to work. That's why I'm still working to fund as much as I can, but I'm running out of time. I'm running out of time. And again, you guys know that when I do have time, I give frequent uh, live talks, like historically over the past 10 years, typically every other day or every day, historically. You all can visit my Linktree, linktr.ee/GDAO Monk. The Linktree is available on all of my platforms for you all to make your donations. Um, I really wanted to say thank you for all of you who were thinking of me and my programs and all of us, and to all of the previous donors. Um, it it it's it touches me in such a way um, that the money goes to the right place at the right time for the right people who are in most in need. Uh, I battle every day about fundings because there were other cases in other states that I could not respond to because the funding is just not there. And I can't be there for everybody because there's just no fundings for it. So it's one of my wish that, one of these days, winning the lottery solves a lot of problems. And if I ever win the lottery, you bet I'm there. And so last year I traveled the most, and clearly you all saw who benefited in those videos, the many lives that I was able to touch in time, to save in time, to affect in time, to influence in some way, shape, or form in time. Um, and so uh, rejoice for all of the previous donors and the future donors to come, that what the funding can do, which is the resources can do for people and their families, as previously evidenced on my live streams. And you just go back to the videos and see the joy, see the teachings, and how the videos now inspiring thousands and thousands and thousands of people. I also like to welcome all of you who are new. There have been 4,000 new people on Instagram. And at the time of this talk, I think Instagram is close to 40,000, 39,000, 39.5 or something like that. Getting followers on Instagram and YouTube is like extracting water out of a rock. So whatever the algorithm is doing its thing, it's doing its thing. So I'd like to welcome all of you to my teachings and my policies as a set in place. Again, I'm quite committed to seeing this moving forward in such a way. And at the end of my life and at the end of your life, I wanted to remind all of us about the co-naming of Venerable Thich Nhat Hanh at 109th Street and Thich Nhat Hanh Way in New York yesterday, or the day before yesterday. That's what he did. Venerable Thich Nhat Hanh affected perhaps up to 1 billion people, or even more. I just don't know, because he published so many books, preached about peace and nonviolence and self-restraint. The man was so versed in Pali and the Mahayanan teachings that I aspire to be like him, like all of us should aspire to be like him. And part of aspiring to be like him is to, number one, achieve peace yourself, help others through it, and to scale Buddhism in some way, shape, or form, and to help other monks scale Buddhism. Scale meaning to, magnify, to broaden, increase. So it's coming up to 49 minutes of this talk, and I'd like to conclude my talk. I don't think I missed anything. I am open to suggestions and comments in regards to future fundraising and or this particular talk. And this talk is open to praise and blame from other people. uh, it's about thinking. It's about thinking of ways that we can reach people, and also the necessary funding to keep things going. Summer's around the corner, spring break. Um, so again, we got to keep it going strong. We got to hold down the fort because the world is becoming unkind, unwise, left to right. And I know that all of us can do it. We come together, crowdfunding. We can do great things in Buddhism. So again, for all those who are new to Buddhism, you can visit buddhanet.net. It is not my website, but it is a website that I refer everyone to, buddhanet.net, to get familiarized with the teachings. I belong to the Theravadan order, which is the longest, oldest, original, still continuing school of Buddhism. Um, may you all be well. May you all be well, be happy, be free, and always be healthy. My blessing and the sharing of my merits to all of you. May all of you reflect on this teaching and act quickly. A privilege to know and a duty to act based upon what you know, based upon the suffering that is in the world, and to reflect on your own suffering. Lastly, I wanted to say this. Typically, I tend to forget some things. The Buddha says, nor wind, fire can take away the good deeds that you have done in this world. And so, therefore, it's not about the money, it's not about a lot of things. You dedicate your body, speech, and mind for the benefit of other people. The good deeds you have done in this earth, world, and planet, you get a smooth sail towards death, like my mom. And I have a lot of confidence that in my own death will be a smooth sail. Quick, fast, easy, uh, painless. And what do you want people to say at your funeral? When, what do you want people to say? Uh, that this person gave more and took less on this planet, affected a change in some way, shape, or form for the benefit of all of us, you know? Um, so again, it's live a life and legacy. So that's what I want everyone to reflect on in my closing. So, anyways, again, for all those who are new, I invite you all to go back to the beginning of this video, and it'll be a very meaningful video for all of you to reflect on. Again, wishing everyone well. May all be well, be happy, be free, always be healthy. Take care. Till the next time.